Good afternoon. My name is Annie, and I'm here today to discuss the trend of racquetball court conversion in recreation centers. Recreation centers have evolved and transpired into centers that one couldn't have even imagined in the late 1980s to early 2000s, and this is largely due to the need for fitness and wellness, along with college recruitment and retention. I am currently a graduate student in recreation studies at Ohio University and a graduate assistant for the physical and wellness program. I work 3 to 5 days a week inside Ohio University's campus recreation center, and through my time as an instructor, I have become fascinated about the infrastructure of a recreation center and how to best maximize the use of space allocation within the center. I'm going to begin by discussing the history of racquetball and the significance of racquetball has had for many years inside recreation centers. Then discuss the infrastructure of a recreation center, space allocation within a center, and how converting a few racquetball courts within a center can maximize profit and space use. Then I will discuss the need for fitness and wellness for college students, along with some of the current trends in the fitness and wellness industry as a whole, and how important it is to incorporate these trends within a campus recreation center for student retention and recruitment. I will conclude with a list of recreation centers that have implemented racquetball court conversions within their recreation centers and any potential barriers or success these recreation centers have had through the process. The NCSA discusses a brief overview of the history of racquetball, who founded racquetball, and how racquetball was originally started within America. Racquetball was developed early in the 20th century by combining other popular sports such as tennis, handball, squash, and a Spanish sport called ja'ale. The roots of racquetball may have started in prisons in the 1800s when inmates were given balls, which they would hit against the walls. During this time, the sport was referred to as rackets. In America, the game actually appeared in the 1920s. Moving forward to 1952, Sobek founded the Paddle Racket Association and distributed a set of new rules to all YMCAs in the United States to help spread the popularity of the sport. By 1969, the game had become so popular worldwide that a man named Robert Kendler. Now we're going to discuss the infrastructure and breakdown of space allocation within a recreation center. It's a good idea to have this mind frame of understanding the facility you're working in to understand really how to change it and why we're changing it. Allocation within. For years, designers have estimated initial space allocations based on metrics per participant. In 1999, the number was around 1 square foot per student, while today the number is frequently 1.5 to 2 square feet. In the recent recessionary and current post-recessionary climate, a better calculation is often to evaluate the cost per patron for each of the spaces under consideration by dividing the cost of construction and or operation of each space by the number of participants who utilize that space over the term of 1 year. Building components in the lower left quadrant of the resulting matrix, those deemed low cost, high occupancy, such as group exercise studios, are the most effective to build, whereas high cost, low occupancy spaces such as lap pools can be the least. Further, some of the core spaces within each campus recreation centers have stayed around due to structural durability, which Jack Patton, architect and principal at RDG Planning and Design in Iowa, points out. And one of these core spaces are racquetball courts. The sport peaked popularity in the 1980s and thus became implemented within recreation centers across the United States. Most of these racquetball courts have been within campus recreation centers for over 30 years, and that is very important to note. Understanding the infrastructure and space within a campus recreation center is very important because it determines the success of a fitness class you teach and how well the recreation center runs as a whole, logistically. And as we can see from Athletic Business, points out quite clearly a matrix deeming of low cost to high occupancy, which results in group exercise studios, which would be most effective to build within these racquetball courts. Another finding revealed that the facility's environment allowed 67% of less fit individuals to feel more comfortable exercising next to more fit individuals. The findings from Miller in 2011 examined place bonding and its relevance in the world of recreation. 453 students completed a 20-item questionnaire. 226 respondents were male and 172 were females. The questionnaire revealed that students were in agreement that the Student Recreation Center provided strong emotional ties for them at the university. Additionally, an analysis of student responses verified that the Student Recreation Center was important in creating a social bonding experience. When dealing with either recruitment or retention, it was found that 28% of all survey participants responded that recreation facilities and programs had a strong or moderate influence on their decision. When deciding to continue at the university, 31% of all survey participants responded that the recreation facilities and programs had a strong or moderate influence on their decision, and this was based on Hensch's findings back in 2011. Now moving back to the athletic business, Jack Patton and Michael Andresen discuss current trends in campus, fitness, and recreation center programming. The rise of functional training has been one of the biggest surprises of the past 20 years, and it has only accelerated as a trend with the emergence of suspension training, CrossFit, and other similar programs. As designers, we can tell you that the reappearance of monkey bars has been something we would not have anticipated 20 or even 10 years ago. Had we 10 years ago proposed monkey bars for our college rec center, it would have met with extreme skepticism. I'm going to conclude today's podcast by discussing the trend of racquetball court conversion in recreation centers at a couple universities. The first university is Texas Tech. Texas Tech has repurposed 2 of its original 12 racquetball courts into a 1,600 square foot functional fitness training facility. The end goal was to develop a more private, unique workout area different from the traditional strength and cardio machines. A space that works as well for personal trainers as for small group training that was fun and engaging while offering the freedom to train without disrupting weight or cardio room users. Now shifting over to the 2004 renovation of Ohio State University's Dixon Recreation Center, where a ground-level racquetball court was converted into a bouldering cave that emerges from underneath a second-floor court and wraps upward along the court's exterior wall to form multiple courses measuring 42 feet high. The stadium climbing gym has seen yet another conversion to a field maintenance storage room. And last but not least, Ohio University. Ohio University has recently converted one of its racquetball courts into a 1,600 kind of functional fitness training facility similar to Texas Tech. By flipping one of these racquetball courts, we are now able to give students a place to do group fitness, be able to teach the physical and wellness courses that a couple graduate assistants teach, along with being able to work out in an open room space. Some of the weights and items that are placed within this area include bikes, rope, weights, medicine balls, and stretch bands. Across the country, fitness facilities, particularly the decade-old variety often designed with 10 or more racquetball courts, are putting a percentage of those increasingly underutilized spaces to more productive use. Racquetball, as an offering, hasn't been completely abandoned. OSU's 33-year-old Dixon Center maintains 7 of its original 10 courts, 2 having been sacrificed for lounge and circulation spaces at the time of the bouldering cave conversion. But the most recent statistics, compiled by the Sporting Goods Manufacturers Association, reveal that racquetball now attracts roughly a third of the participants it once did, and indeed has been surpassed in popularity by both indoor climbing and martial arts. By noticing 3 of these examples, Along with these statistics, it's obvious that converting a few racquetball courts within these recreation centers is profitable based on infrastructure and space allocation purposes, and successful for student retention and students' overall satisfaction within their recreation centers. I want to thank you all for your time, and I hope this allowed you all to better understand this trend of racquetball court conversion in recreation centers. Thanks, guys.